sé si fue real o si fue una ilusión. Si estaba en aquel bar mientras hacía cantar.
All right, there we go. Stupid thing. I don't know why it does this. NVIDIA Broadcast, I have the old version of it, but even back when it was being used normally and they didn't have it like with the RTX broadcast and all that, which I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast because for some reason it seems to work a little better for my setup than the RTX bullshit or whatever it is. NVIDIA Broadcast app or whatever. Anyway, yeah, like for some reason it just closes randomly. So if you ever see me start a stream and I'm muted, that's why. I probably didn't forget to hit the mute button. It probably is because NVIDIA Broadcast just went, you know what? I don't feel like working. So I have to reopen it. And now you can hear me. Yeah, so all that dumb shit I said at the beginning, forget it. Don't worry about it. It wasn't important. Anyways, just brain fart. Yes, Discord notifications. Yes, we got the Discord stuff going. So I now officially have Discord notifications. It's like one of two things on my Discord channel. Hooray! But that said, I mean it's kind of just what it is. Ooh. That'll work. All right. The other thing was I didn't want to hear a song where people were singing. I wanted to just hear cool music like this. Yeah. Anyways, makes for a nice background. Holy crap! I am totally not prepared for the stream. All right, we are officially here for day 3 of Spooky Cast. Maybe that's why I should have called it Spooky Cast. Spooky season works too. Spooky season works. So spooky season, yes, day 3. I took yesterday off. We are back today. We are going to be playing some more Silent Hill 2 Remake. According to PlayStation, it is 47% complete. I have my doubts, but I do know that we still have to finish up the hospital area, so that should be interesting. Yeah, other than that, that's all we're going to be doing today. You know, like tons of games to get through, so we're not going to waste too much time on random bullshittery. Yeah, so tomorrow, well, hopefully we'll get through enough of the game that I can have it done mostly by today, and then we'll finish it up tomorrow. If not, we'll do another stream on Sunday, but yeah, currently that's the plan, is you know, get it done in 1 or 2 streams, and then kind of, you know, take a small break, play something smaller, or maybe have a stream where we're watching spooky videos or something like that, or maybe we'll mix all 3, I don't know. You know, I'm pretty sure I have one or two spooky games that are short. So, you know, we could do that too. Maybe just play a bunch of short spooky games. Tons of possibilities, but yeah, and then after that, let's see, probably moving into, I don't know yet. we have a ton of games, but I'm trying not to like jump from one game that's kind of the same to another game that's kind of the same. You know, like in this case, it would be, you know, Silent Hill 2 is definitely its own thing, but the way it plays is it's an over-the-shoulder third-person action event, you know, that type of thing, right? Unfortunately, it's a bit inevitable because there's so many games like that nowadays, but just trying to kind of make sure I'm not getting into like a bit of a every game kind of starts blending together type of vibe. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. As far as like news and everything, as far as I'm aware, not really anything crazy. Interesting. Maybe there's some stuff to talk about. Apparently, the reason why Star Wars Outlaws for the Switch 2 is on a game keycard is according to one of the developers, an audio architect for the Snowdrop engine. He says, Snowdrop relies heavily on disk streaming for its open world environments, and we found that the Switch 2 cards simply didn't give the performance we needed at the quality target we were going for. I don't recall the cost of the cards ever entering the discussion, probably because it was moot. To which point, John Linneman from Digital Foundry, holy crap, I am tired. He responded, okay, so I was right then. I had a feeling that might be the case given the amount of streaming going on in that game engine, and based on the results we saw with other Switch 2 kart games. To which the developer responded, I think if we designed the game for Switch 2 from the ground up, it might have been different. As it was, we'd build the game around the SSDs of the initial target platforms, and then the Switch 2 came along a while later. In this case, I think our leadership made the right call. So this is interesting, because I know the game key cards are getting a lot of crap, and rightfully so for some things. Weirdly, I'm not actually opposed to the idea of the game key cards, because, you know, like, so the concept of game key card is you just buy a blank card essentially, and then that card functions as a key to the digital download. And then you can give that card to anybody and they will just download it onto their device, but it will just be deactivated from yours until you put the key back in. So basically it's a way to have game sharing in real life. Not really anything different from the old physical games. The only difference is that instead of the game being on the cartridge, it just gets installed to a bunch of stuff. But it's only useful when that cartridge is plugged in, which is just like how a cartridge would work. The problem is that, like, yeah, the Switch 2 is getting a lot of ports from consoles that didn't have that technology. They had things like hard drives and SSDs, and that all operates differently. So the internal storage of the Switch 2 is way faster than the cartridge. I think they showed Donkey Kong Bonanza was like almost like a 2 or 3 second loading time difference. Which, I mean, that game doesn't really rely on you loading quickly, so it's not that big a deal. And it was built ground up for the Switch 2, so it makes more sense that it wouldn't be as obvious. But I can imagine, say, like the Ratchet game that came out for the PlayStation 5, where it has you like jumping between different portals, and that's pretty seamless on the PlayStation 5. But if you have like an SSD or especially a hard drive, like a physical platter disk hard drive, the load times can be kind of noticeable. There's like a pause, you know, where like it takes a second. And so like, you know, but on the PlayStation 5, you don't notice that. And I think if you ported the game to the Switch 2, you'd get those pauses between the jumps and levels. So, you know, for loading. So I think like as the Switch 2 matures, you're definitely going to see more parity with, you know, the current next gen consoles, the PS5 and going forward for sure. But yeah, these growing pains, I think for sure. But my only real issue with the game key cards is that, you know, companies like Nintendo are so terrified that they could be misused that they restrict them so heavily with like, you got to have a check-in process and all that, or, you know, all that kind of bullshit, you know. We're so scared of piracy. It's going to get pirated. Jesus Christ. I understand you want to make it difficult, but you're not going to get mass adoption of something like the game key card without kind of finding a better way to have your leash, but like in a way that like doesn't feel like a leash to the consumer. because yeah, like I said, game key cards, it's a brilliant idea. You know, it is essentially the whole idea of like the game is on the disc type of thing. You know, where it's not on the disc, the disc is the key. It's physical waste, sure. Won't argue that, you know, bad for the environment. But from a, you know, like if you're not caring about the environment and you're only caring about like, you know, the idea of physical ownership, you know, like it could work. It just needs that refinement to make it feel less consumer unfriendly. And that's really my only gripe with the game key cards. To be honest, you know, like I feel like people would be more interested in buying physical stuff, you know, physical games. You know, if it felt like you were getting a better package with it. Like one of the things that's frustrating to me when I buy a game, like I bought Donkey Kong Bonanza as the physical the cartridge version, and the game is on the cartridge, so that's awesome, right? But the problem is like that's all you get in the case. You get this little tiny cartridge, you get the plastic case, and then you get the paper sleeve for the cover, and that's all you get. You get no manual, no little you know trinkets or doodads inside of it. Like there's nothing that makes you feel like this is a complete product. It literally is like, here, take this, you know, with some pretty packaging artwork. And I just feel like, you know, the old days of physical games, you got the game, you got the manual, you got some promo materials, maybe some like, you know, incentives for you to subscribe to some magazines or newsletters or whatever, you know, buy some merchandise. You know, if you got the collector's editions are kind of all the rage now, but a lot of collector's editions are honestly kind of just full of junk, you know, a lot of like filler. But if you look at like the collector's editions of old, I mean, you got some really awesome manuals, like, you know, imagine getting like a hardcover manual with your game, you know, like it's just a book at that point. You know, cool maps and it was all integral to the game too. Like, you know, the map would actually be useful. It wouldn't just be something cool on your wall. It could be that, you know, but you could actually use it to help get your way through the game too. So yeah, just a different environment for physical. Nowadays, it feels more consumerist, you know, where it's just, you know, from like the company to the consumer perspective, it just feels like it's just a product, you know, instead of something that appeals to a collector. And I don't mean the FOMO dumb bullshit like limited run games does. Yeah, I'm just talking like, you know, I don't know, something somebody is going to treasure. You know, like if you hear a lot of 90s kids, they'll talk about like, you know, oh, I read the manual on the way home. And I bet you a lot of those kids could probably tell you exactly what was in a lot of those manuals, you know, or what manual they thought was the coolest or something. There's memories to physical things. I don't think necessarily exist with digital things. Like I have a large digital library of stuff, but honestly, I couldn't tell you what's on half of it. I have to browse it constantly. But all my physical stuff, I have lots of memories of those kind of things because it's a thing tied to a place which becomes a memory. Which for me, most of the digital stuff I have, I mean, it's either lost the time or like there might be a couple of things that I might have some memory about that was kind of nostalgic. Like I have an old CD somewhere in a pile, which shows you how much I treasure it. That like it's a reflection of, because this is way back when hard drive sizes were smaller. You could actually back up a big chunk of your stuff to a CD-ROM, because 700 megabytes on a CD-ROM was bigger than most hard drives at the time. Sadly, you know, the affordable stuff for consumers. So whenever I would migrate my hard drive to another hard drive size, I would just back it up on a CD. Can't do that anymore. But yeah, from that time, I still have some CD-ROMs from then, and occasionally I'll pop them in just because I want to remember what was on them, and I'll be like, "Oh wow, yeah, I remember this." It's such an odd feeling, you know, old memes and pictures I saved, you know, from a time long gone, a person I am not anymore, you know, and but it's still a physical thing. Like because I backed them up on a disc, the physical act of the disc, putting it into a disc drive, you know, in my computer and all that kind of stuff, like that, there's that sense of like tactile feeling, you know, and I feel like it sinks in better to your brain. One of the things I've noticed with digital content is that like your brain disregards it easier. You don't care or think about it as much. It's just more stuff to add to the pile of stuff. You know, like Netflix has a really robust library of movies, but you wouldn't know it because you browse through it so quickly to find anything interesting that you just don't care, you know. But when you go to a movie rental store and you have to sit there and actually browse and look through and take your time to look at everything, it sticks with you more, I think, anyway. But what do I know? I'm just an old fart. So, but yeah, this definitely is interesting to hear about for the Switch 2. Let's see here. Anything else? Well, Hollow Knight Silksong apparently broke the internet this morning, which, you know, good for them. We all knew that was going to happen. Holy cow. Lenovo Legion Go 2 pre-orders are live at Best Buy for the low price of 3 Nintendo Switch 2s. Who is this for? Like, I see these handhelds that are like, you know, it's, well, like this one, the Lenovo Legion Go 2 has, let's see the features here. Seriously, damn, Best Buy's website's crap. Ryzen 2 Extreme processor. Get desktop class performance with integrated RDNA graphics. An 8.8-inch OLED gaming display. It's 144 Hz refresh with VRR. 74 watt-hour battery. 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD, which is expandable up to with a 2 terabyte micro SD. Wow. Dual USB-C ports with DisplayPort 2.0. That is wild. That's just a PC at that point, like a full-blown PC. You just hook it up to a monitor and you're good to go. I just can't imagine $1,349 for this thing. Like, motherfucker, I want to know the rich dude that's like, you know, I'm gonna buy a $1,400 handheld PC. Like, what the hell? Like, one of my weird addictions is watching retro gaming channels that cover like all of the new emulation handhelds that come out from like Ein, like the Odin, you know, and stuff like that, or God, I don't know, but like there's a bunch of them, and it's like the videos are cool to watch, and I'm always fascinated by new technology, but I'm also like, who is buying like a $700, $1,000 like portable handheld that only plays retro games? You know, it just feels weird to me. Like, I bought a Steam Deck, and don't get me wrong, I think it's cool, but like, in no way in hell would I have ever bought it for $500-600. I know it's worth it, like, in terms of the technology packed into it, but like, I just can't. Like, the way gaming consoles have become so expensive, I'm just like, no. Gaming should be a cheap and affordable. It should not be like, I'm not saying premium brands and premium things shouldn't exist, but like, there's a point where it's like, is this a bit much? Like, is this a market we should really be entertaining? You know, like, it's just baffling to me as somebody who grew up in the 90s and thinking to myself like, oh, the 3DO, you know, that thing launched at $1,000 and people laughed it out of the room. You know, the Neo Geo was rich kids' toys, you know, like that type of stuff, right? But like, you know, oh, your Jaguar is going to launch at $400. Good luck with that. You know, Sega Saturn, what did the Saturn launch? It was like $499, and it was an early launch. People were like, nah, not having it. You know, PlayStation launches at $299 and people lose their damn minds over it. That's so cheap, they say. So yeah, I don't know who the hell's in the market for a $1,400 handheld PC. I'm sure there's people, but damn, yeah. Chronos the Dawn production budget was less than $27.5 million. That's a good thing. Oh yeah, I never did watch that 007 reveal that they did the other day, the State of Play. I'm not sure I really want to watch it, but yeah. Oh. Yeah, I have to agree. This was kind of depressing. So Hell is Us came out, which to be fair, today is not a good day for any game to launch that's not called Silksong. But it launched just under 4,000 concurrent users on Steam. Now I know that's not like the best metric for tracking like games, like the actual sales of games, but like from a consumer interest standpoint, Hell is Us seems to have kind of just launched with a fart. Which is a shame because like the demo, when I played it, it had a lot of promise, but like it felt lacking somehow, and I don't know how. That's the part. Like, yes, it had some performance issues, which I see that the full version of the game has better performance, which is great. Hold on a sec here. My chair. Damn it. I need to get one of those slidey things for my chair because it keeps getting caught on stuff. Get over there. There we go. Ow. Well, now we'll roll forward. Damn it. Fighting this chair. Ah. Good Lord. Anyway. Yeah, no, the Hell is Us, like, the atmosphere is fantastic. It's got like that cool, just like you're alone, but like it's like it's just a very nice like I was watching Bike Man play it, and the vibe I got from the game was like, this is the kind of game that like maybe it's not a good streaming game or YouTube game or whatever, but it's definitely a game that somebody would buy and very much enjoy, just sitting down to relax and just immerse themselves into a game. Like, it has that kind of vibe to it. It's got a very cool, like, just feel to the game. The music does a lot of lifting on that. But I did notice that as I was playing it, that like the storytelling, the cutscenes are fantastic, but and the voice acting really sells things. But like, there's just some weird gaps that feel like they could have been done better. I don't know how to describe it, but it did definitely feel like it was a game that is not for everybody. And so I feel like, yeah, the hype's just not there. Plus, the big issue I did notice for sure was the combat is very repetitive. And it is Souls-like-ish. It's more action comedy, I guess, but like, yeah, it's just a strange blend of a game that I feel like probably needed a little bit more focus on what it was doing and a little bit more emphasis on structure. Because like, there's this weird desire for the game to feel unstructured, to make you kind of like want to go through the world and seek out all the weird things and the secrets about it. But it also seems like it has an issue with like keeping you focused on like the story and what you're doing. Like one of the glaring things I noticed, and I don't know how anybody didn't think of this when they were watching this, is one of the very first things that happens when you are able to kind of do your own stuff. Your first little like mini dungeon where you pick up your weapon and the little drone dude and all that for the first time. That happens because you go into the dungeon with just a pistol because you're smart and intelligent, and you come across this enemy, and the enemy's got the surprise thing where like this red thing comes out of its chest, and it's like they're linked together as an enemy. It's one big enemy, but the bigger danger is the thing that comes out of its chest, and you get saved by this woman who is dressed up all cool and ninja-like. She's got a cool poncho and a drone and all that. And while she's attacking the red thing, the drone is holding the other monster, the one that the red thing came out of, kind of like binding it, rooting it down, whatever, so it can't move. She finally manages to kill the big red thing, and she realizes that the drone is now just floating around her, which means the binding wore off. So she freaks out, and she turns around, and boom, monster right through the chest, right? Takes her out. When that happens, and she kills the monster when this happens too. So it's like basically it's a double KO. You basically loot her body. The game just jumps right to this, by the way. You get up, you walk over to the bodies, you loot her body. It doesn't show that part. It's just like you walk up, you hear the cloth ruffling, and then boom, there you are. You're dressed in her poncho, and you got her drone, which apparently now just magically listens to you. You've got her weapon, and now it's your turn to go exploring and getting out of this crazy place. But the problem is like that moment where she saves your life and then dies, and your character never fucking mentions anything. Your character doesn't go, holy shit, like surprised that this happens. Your character doesn't go, oh man, this is terrible that she died. You know, there's nothing. It's just you are panicking and you're almost dead. She saves your life and you don't say a fucking word about it. Ever. You just grab her shit, put it on you, and just start pretending like you're picking up where she left off. It's the weirdest fucking thing to me. Because, like, what are you doing? How do you write a story and then in that pivotal scene where you are basically doing the whole, like, you know, Link coming across his uncle, you know, in Hyrule Castle, that moment where the torch gets passed to you, you are now the person who has to carry this mission forward, so to speak. And there's just nothing, no reflection, no remorse, no curiosity. There's no emotion in that moment whatsoever. How do you pride yourself on these really cool cutscenes and storytelling and all that if you can't even nail human interaction properly? It's just a problem I see with a lot of stories where, like, it feels like it's two worlds. Like World of Warcraft was like this a lot. A lot of Blizzard storytelling is. The cutscenes feel like they're developed by completely different people than the actual in-game story. It just feels like that a lot. That's why people were bitching about the Midnight thing, because, like, it's a cool cinematic. Don't get me wrong. But, like, what? Like, where'd all this shit come from? Like, if you did not watch any of the developer stuff or anything like that, if, like, let's pretend that you don't go on the internet, you only play World of Warcraft, but you saw this trailer, what the fuck is happening? Right? All of a sudden, Xalatath, who, you know, took off a puff of smoke at the end of the expansion, is back, and she's attacking Silvermoon and, like, almost winning, apparently, because she's right at the fucking doors of the Sunwell. You know? And, like, what? And then all of a sudden, Paladins are showing up out of nowhere, like they're being called in like it's an army drop. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? Nobody knows. You know? But now it's World of Warcraft Midnight. You know, and it's like, if you don't watch the BlizzCons, if you're not somebody who's stalking them on Twitter, or you don't watch their YouTube thing, if you don't go to the fucking forums, if you don't know what Wowhead is, you know, and I know that's saying a lot, right? But there are a lot of people out there who are less clued in than you think. And if the materials that are explaining your story are not in the game, what does that mean? Right? Your opening cinematic, the one that you're showing everybody, hey, look at our cool new game. Like, if that was your opening salvo, you failed at storytelling. You have failed at storytelling. You need to pull people in, and, you know, you are not prepared, you know, or, you know, one day, my son, you will rule, or whatever, right? Like, you know, one day you will be king. Those are cool. They end on iconic character looks, you know, and they end on, you know, Illidan with his blades coming out and his demon hunter wings and all that kind of shit. You are not prepared, you know, like the dragon coming. Like, those are cool, interesting things. We will never be slaves. Hard to do the orc thing. Let me water my throat with Trolley Mountain Dew. Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah, all that to say that, like, you need the connective tissues of stories to make stories feel compelling. Either that, or in the absence of, like, literal storytelling, environmental storytelling needs to make a huge difference. Like, Hollow Knight's a really good example of that. People love Hollow Knight. And the reason why is because, just like how Metroid doesn't need really any dialogue at all, to be honest, the game is the story. Like, it is telling the journey of you, the player, picking, you know, you're in the role of Samus Aran or little Hollow Knight guy or whatever. You know, that is the story. From beginning to end of the game is the story. Right? That's because the environments, everywhere you go, the characters you interact with, the monsters you defeat, like the items you pick up, all of that is the story. that's why Dark Souls has so much appeal to lore nerds, even though, let's be honest, Dark Souls is not exactly telling you a cinematic adventure, but it is, right? Everything from that initial weird cinematic with the monsters, or like Elden Ring has like, the Dung Eater and all that. You have no idea what any of that gibberish means, but it pulls you in. It's weird, right? But then when you're playing the story, there's not like cutscenes and radio buddies and all that kind of stuff. Not really. It's kind of you got to figure it out and piece it together on your own. But the game is the story. You are dude in place. You go places and do things. At end of things, you get credits. All of that stuff in between, it's like a story sandwich, So that's how game storytelling used to be. Nowadays, it's all movie cinematics, and I blame Final Fantasy VII for that. But yeah. Anyways, I'm ranting a bit, but the reality is that wait, what? This is not right. Somebody made Mario Galaxy 3 in Dreams? All right, we are looking at this because I have to see this. Hold on a sec. We're gonna pause the music here. I have to see this. I think I shrink in a corner anyway. All right, so what is going on here?
Oh no, this is definitely more Galaxy-like. God, look at that! Welcome to Super Mario.
What the fuck?
It's basically a full-on Mario sequel, a 3D one made in Dreams on my PlayStation 4 or 5. It is fantastic, and we're gonna check it out right now because you gotta see this for yourself if you haven't already. This is a new update to a prior game made by the creator. It seems to be better than ever. And look at this, we have 4 full realms or worlds you can check out with multiple objectives in each.
This is wild!
Mario or Luigi. We'll start off as Mario here. He's my favorite character, of course, though Luigi's pretty great too. And you gotta check out Mushroom Hills in particular because this instantly looks like a world Nintendo would have created because look at this. Look at that! I already love the visuals
what
of this
the
thing.
fuck?
It actually, more than anything, reminds me of the Mario movies' take on the Mushroom Kingdom, which I adored. So you gotta check this out because it is fantastic. Look at this. We got a full-on Mario realm. We have full-on camera control.
How? What the hell?
Jumps. We can do long jumps. Okay, we can do triple jumps if I do it right. There we go. We can climb trees.
This is insane.
Handstands. You can do an in-air galaxy twist.
I mean, this is clearly not Mario. You can tell the physics are all weird, but like...
There are question blocks all over.
The fact that this is possible on a PlayStation 4? How come Dreams was never ported?
It is fantastic.
Sony, you are dropping the ball.
Because it is so good looking, and
a lot of the stuff I've seen in Dreams is just like unbelievable crazy.
But seeing creations like this, where basically full-on games made by a handful of creators. I should say, I think it was a team that worked on this, a small team, it seemed, based on the credits. And yeah, there are multiple.
This is insane.
So let's go check. Look at that view. I love that. We got launch stars.
Oh my.
I love Mario Galaxy. If Nintendo will give us Galaxy 3, I'm glad this creator would. You can, of course, check it out for yourself on Dreams right now as well. Let's take the launch star.
I mean, obviously, this is copyrighted work. So like, Nintendo will probably be all over this, but...
So colorful. Like, this gets Mario. Oh. Alright, we got the triple jump. Didn't mean to do it there, but hey, we'll do it. You got side flips, of course. You got checkpoints. And more than anything, like, they really got surprisingly close to the feel of Mario 2. It feels quite polished. It's one of the most important things in a 3D platformer game, especially if you're modeled after Mario. You have to get that right, and this gets 90%
is
of the
crazy.
way there. Hey, look, we're collecting some star shards. There's another one up ahead. Yeah. Look at the Toad just enjoying the view of the castle. Love it. All right, where the rest of the star shards at? No, there's one. Yeah, thank you for grabbing that ledge there, Mario. Some coins on top of that Toad house. How are we gonna get those? All right, where's this final shard at? There it is. All right.
Oh, that was hard.
Get another one star. But first, I gotta try to get those coins.
This is just insane to me. I cannot believe that this exists.
do you think, chat? Even though we're not live streaming this. Okay, I don't think we can do it. Those look quite difficult. But those even remind me of the ones in Mario Galaxy.
Wow.
In places that you wouldn't think you'd be able to reach. Yeah. Let's take the ramp up the wall, just like in Mario Galaxy here. And there are hidden red coins all over. We have found 2. I think we've missed quite a few at this point. Hey, come here, Mushroom. We don't need you. Okay, it's gone. Mushroom's gone. But we didn't want you anyway, Mushroom. I lied. We didn't want you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Good. We saved ourselves. There's a black hole back there. We got a green star. Whatever that does. And this pathway looks precarious. Yep, they're gonna fall out beneath us, so we better keep moving. Look at, like, this, everything is so impressive. Like, they got how the gravity works in Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, this is just crazy. I cannot believe this is a thing. This reminds me of this. Let's see here. So there's a person who is making Courage the Cowardly Dog in Dreams. Let's see if he has an updated teaser here. He does, but members only. Here we go. This is a trailer from one of his newer builds. This is PlayStation 4 Dreams. And this dude made a Courage the Cowardly, like a horror game. Like, what the hell, right? And it's just an underground, like, level, and turn this up a little bit. Now he's in scuba gear. Like, I mean, this needs to be like a full-blown commercial product, because this is just so dang cool. Like, I don't even care that it's not, like, you know, young kid friendly. Like, this guy nails how, like, weird and spooky Courage was. Like, Courage, the reason why Courage, you never see Courage anymore is because, like, look at skulls in the ground. It's because when Courage was airing live, parents complained that it was too scary for their kids. So Cartoon Network complied with that and eventually just, like, stopped renewing it. But Courage was actually a pretty successful cartoon for its time. It's just, for some reason, you know, like, I mean, they kind of did the same thing with Toonami. Like, one of the reasons why Toonami had that weird period where they didn't have action cartoons during the afternoon was because Dragon Ball Z was getting parents calling in and complaining about violence. You know, it's too violent for my kids. So then they started, you know, they had the Midnight Run and stuff like that, where that's where those cartoons were supposed to be aired instead, the anime or whatever. You know, which eventually led to Adult Swim and, you know, all the stuff that they do now. But it's kind of ironic that Toonami ended up becoming more of like an Adult Swim time period anyway. But it just goes to show you like how afraid of, like parents, like with like action cartoons and everything. They cost more to make and market and everything. The payoff isn't necessarily as big. Like a good example is oh. Clonk. Obviously not the most complicated game. It is just dreams. But yeah, like Young Justice was an example of that. The show was pretty expensive to make, apparently, because the animation level required for, action cartoon. But then they found out that a larger than expected percentage of the audience wasn't men, wasn't boys. It was actually girls. And they didn't know how to market an action cartoon to girls. Because they were expecting it to be like, action figures for boys. Not, not action figures for girls, right? You got to remember, a lot of companies are still stuck on that kind of crap. So yeah, Young Justice just kind of went away. Similar issue happens with a lot of stuff, because like How Dare Girls happen to like things that boys like, right? But like Rick and Morty, when that came out, super duper popular, but it took forever for them to be able to figure out how to monetize that. Like, how do we sell this weird shit, Oh, did he make it out? That's the exit. It's just a drain.
There's no time to rest on laurels when we must repair the coral. Singing helps the work of masters. Share the shells and pass the plaster.
That courage humor. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Anyway. So this was the underwater section, but they did have other stuff, like, let's see here. Where is some of the gameplay I was watching? Because he did have a demo, playable teaser. So of course something goes wrong, but then like this is him going through the house and doing stuff, and this is all playable in dreams. Which, as far as I understand, is not backwards compatible with PS5. I should look into that. Because actually, I would be really interested in playing this if this is something I can play on the PS5. Here, let me, I don't know if I can... Can this be... Okay, sweet. Okay, so as of February 1st, 2024, the PC and PlayStation 5 versions of Dreams have been canceled. Okay. So you can run Dreams on PS5 through the backwards compatibility. The performance will improve because it's a PS5. Let's see here. Oh, the playable teaser is able to be played on... Ooh. Bro. This actually might be something we do. I'm thinking, actually. Yeah. I think this might be something we do. Let's see how much is Dreams. $20. Alright, so Dreams is available for purchase on PS4 or PS5. It's $20. Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing this, because this, I did not know that I could actually, like, I didn't know that was still a thing. We're absolutely going to be playing this. This looks so cool. Yeah, this looks super cool. Like, I can't fault this one at all. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be on the docket. All right. Let's fire up that other thing. No, not that other thing. This other thing. And slide this guy right on over here. Get my controller out. Alright, and of course, the most important part. We gotta get into spooky mode. So we're going to... Hold on. Forgot we gotta do this little trick here. So if you have VTube Studio and you want to know how to get the display lighting to work with a console game that you, or like any kind of capture from your capture card, create a projected window of that source so that it's just the source in a projected window, and then go to display lighting and where it says window, select that window. And then what ends up happening is everything that happens in that window will be will affect your VTube model, but it won't affect like anything else. So it'll blend basically the way it's supposed to. So without further ado, so that's just wild to me. That's just wild to me that like Dreams can be that advanced. Okay. Let's see. Anything else here? Oh, snap. No wonder why. Forgot to actually post. So I had the post all ready to go for Twitter and Blue Sky, and I never actually clicked post for those things. So, Fucking moron. All right. I am sorry about that. What's this button do? Not that one. What's this one button do? That's not the good button either. How about this button? Yeah, that button. All right. Well, the go lives are ready to go. So, okay. So, just making sure we're all good to go. As little distraction as possible. Okay. How's that looking? Okay, and that's good. All right. I think we're doing good. All right. If that is the case, then let's do it to it. Shall we? All right. So I will swap over to the game myself on my television. All right, so where we left off, we were doing the spooky hotel, and or not the hotel, the hospital. My bad. And we got to the part where we're in like the alternate Silent Hill world type thing, but we solved one big puzzle, and it immediately did a hey, here's another puzzle. So there's more layers to this onion. So we're definitely not done with the hospital yet, but we made a lot of progress last time we played. So today I'm hoping we can knock out a bit more of that. So yeah, I'll only be streaming for a few hours tonight. And I don't want to go to bed super late. I've been doing that a lot lately. So it'll probably be a shorter stream, but that's okay. When I get my days off, I don't think I have any major plans coming up for either of those days. We'll definitely be knocking out a longer stream for at least one of those days. So, if you're feeling like my streams are a little too short lately, I'm sorry. But I'm only human. I have to have a job to be able to afford any of this stuff, and Twitch and YouTube ain't paying my bills. Speaking of which, I'm never ever going to be monetizing my YouTube channel for streaming. Mostly just because I don't want to have to deal with the copyright bullshit. These videos always get really random copyright things. I'm just going to leave it unmonetized. And if somebody wants to copyright strike it, more power to them. I'm not interested in getting any money from that. So any money I ever make from YouTube is going to be on the main channel or any other alternate channels that I can cut and create content, edit it, and put it on those channels. Basically to avoid any of the copyright stuff. But I don't want to have to be afraid of copyright strikes on my VOD channel. Specifically because, of the fact that I'm trying to monetize the channel. I don't think YouTube really cares if you never monetize it, about copyright. Because they'll just say, well, copyright or whatever, we'll just slap some ads on it. Now if I get a takedown request or anything like that, that might be a different story. But pretty much all of the copyright issues I ever get is from licensed music. Because, they're little bitches about that. So not much I can really do on that front. I can dispute it to some degree, but yeah, like I got a copyright strike from Tuesday's stream. And that's because, Snake Eater was playing. Somebody did a cover of Snake Eater on the OC remix, and not the song, but the melody, the backing track, and the lyrics. I shit you not. That was copyright. Because apparently that can have different legal right claiming than the actual rights to the song, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. But that's the world we live in. Everybody wants a piece of their pie, so they just divide the shit up. It's why, like VShojo, all of those talents at VShojo, Fruit and Centrea and Melody and Iron Mouse, Kuro, none of them have access to any of the rights or royalties from the shit that they made. All those covers and everything that you love, all those bangers, nope, they get nothing. So they're still dealing with trying to fight that. they may never actually get them. They might have to abandon all that, which really sucks because like they put out really good shit. I love Fruit's covers of like Rainy Day and stuff like that. Sun Killer, awesome, awesome stuff. And I hope it doesn't. I'm sure it won't, but like I hope it doesn't discourage them from continuing on now as indies and basically being like, I get all the control, because that was the whole freaking promise of Ishoujo, was that the talent was the one that was in control, not the other way around. And it's so sad to see that it was the other way around. And I get it, because like it's overwhelming to be your own boss. Having to manage all of the bullshit in addition to actually having to do the job, it sucks the fun out of the job. Because like everybody sees this part. They see dude holding a controller playing a video game, right? What they don't see is all the stuff behind the scenes, the technical hurdles you have to overcome, the constant tinkering around the edges to make sure everything is cool and upgraded as it can be, setting up all of the financial bullshit, the taxes, the bank accounts, all that kind of stuff to get paid. And then of course, like for VTubers, commissioning artwork, but the regular people do it too. Commissioning artwork, overlays. Every time a new game expansion comes out, Tally has a whole brand new theme that goes on with the stream. He pays people to make all that. Animated emotes, animated alerts, animated backgrounds. There's constant back and forth. Any sponsorships and promotions that you want to have, merchandise. Even if you are negotiating with a company, it's still work that you have to do. Meetings and stuff, because you got to get everybody at the same time to talk about things. And then of course you got to make sure that like, yeah, you're not just getting paid, you're not getting screwed. It's exhausting. It's a lot of work. And so it's easy for, the brain to be like, well, you know what? I just didn't want to do all that. What I wanted to do was I wanted to focus on the thing I like doing, which is streaming, right? Or YouTube video making or whatever, right? I did not want to be merch guy, tech guy, legal guy, all that kind of shit, right? Like, I didn't want to wear all those hats. So you sit there and you think to yourself, well, like, well, I could farm this out to another company. They'll deal with all the annoying bullshit while I get to do the thing I like to do. And they take a cut of my money and whatever, but like, hey, at least it's done and I'm going to think about it, And you never think to yourself like, oh, well, this company's totally going to screw me over. You never think that, especially because a lot of these types of relationships are built on you trying to establish trust, right? And trust is a two-way street, right? So it sucks even more when you get betrayed. You find out that, oh, I don't know, they didn't pay off the charity like they're supposed to, and instead they embezzled the funds. That's a common mistake. Anybody could do that, right? And eventually, like, we're going to hit that point where it's like some really, really, really dirty laundry is going to come out, which sucks. It's going to happen. It will. What you heard is not the whole story. It may not even be the story you think you know. I'm not saying I know anything because I don't, but like, it's just how these things go. There's always like the news you hear in the moment, the news you hear as part of the aftershocks, and then the real story as it comes out later. So yeah, it can get really bad, and I hope it doesn't, but it just, it just sucks. It just sucks. For an agency that promoted itself as talent first, it sure did a really good job of screwing over all of its talent. So rest in piss Shoujo. But it just sucks that, like, you could have been the GOAT, man. You could have been the GOAT. Okay, where did that go? I dropped my cap on the ground. My soda needs a cap. I probably look hilarious right now. Bro, where's my cap? Ow. Sorry, smacked me in the microphone. I told you I didn't have the most ideal streaming setup. Oh, there it is. It's literally right, like, under my heel as I'm lifting up my foot to look around. Ay. Alright, one last sec, and then I will stop stalling and we'll play the game. Can't believe it. I'm like the dumbest Butterfinger when it comes to this shit. I'll drop like, you know, the dumbest shit. I'll drop like a bottle cap or something as I'm trying to put it on a bottle, or, you know, like one French fry out of a thing will just fall or something. It's just... All right. Let's get this shit on the road. But yeah, it just it sucks, you know. You want your agency, VTuber agency, to be good, but so much drama, unfortunately, with these types of things. Okay, so we can now do the elevator button, which is literally across the way. Right? Yes. Alright, let's do it.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to another exciting edition of Trick or Treat, where you answer our questions correctly and win a prize beyond your wildest dreams. Or you fail to answer correctly and receive the punishment. It's all in the hands of our lucky contestant, James Sunderland. James, are you ready to play Trick or Treat? Excellent. Here's your first question. In the early 1800s, a terrible disease spread across Silent Hill, resulting in the death of many of its inhabitants. Their bodies thrown into the lake to sleep forever in their watery grave. How many souls were lost during the plague? 1, 42, 2, 67, 3, 85. Know the answer? Well, you better hold on to it. You never know when it might come in handy. Now, on to the second question. Follow Sanders Street heading east and further on to the outskirts of town. One and only one road will take you towards the lumberyard and the cemetery. What is the name of that road? 1, Bachman Road. 2, Munson Street. 3, Wiltsey Road. Did you get that? I sure as hell hope so.
I am not going to remember any of this.
Final question. Silent Hill witnessed a gruesome murder a few years back. A brother and sister were playing in the road when they were attacked and chopped into pieces with an axe. Torn flesh, smashed bones, splattered blood. What a terrible tragedy. What a gruesome end to such innocent lives. One of the victims was a local boy named Billy Locaine. But what was the name of the other victim? Billy's sister. 1, Miriam. 2, Heather. 3, Julia. Well, that's the last of our questions. Have you got it all figured out? If so, fantastic. The time will soon come to collect your prizes. But be careful. If you're wrong, well, looks like that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. See you somewhere, sometime, in sickness or in health. Bye-bye.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, that was a little weird. so I can't go those ways. That's the elevator. Okay, so there's a path to the generator room. So there's nothing in there, so I gotta sneak into the generator room. Gotta go that way. Not give me a choice. She went down kind of easy. Wow, they're making sure you go through each and every one of these rooms. Well, that goes down, but where does this go? So that is all completely locked up. So I have to go to the park. Oh.
James.
Mary.
Mary! Oh. Maria, I thought... Sorry. Anyway, I'm glad you're alive.
Anyway? What do you mean, anyway? I was almost killed back there. I have never been so scared in my whole life. All you care about is that dead wife of yours.
Damn.
You couldn't care less about me, could you?
No, I just...
Then stay with me. Don't leave me alone again. You're supposed to take care of me.
Bitch, you weren't even in the room when we went to go check on you.
So what about Laura? You found her?
Yeah, but she ran away.
What? Well, we have to find her.
Yeah, you really seem to care about that girl. Do you know her?
I'd never met her before. I just feel sorry for her. She's all alone and... I don't know, for some reason I feel like it's up to me to protect her. Come on, let's go look for her.
Well... Oh, that's right, we can't go back. Oh, she opened up the door. She also says nothing about how weird any of this is. we can't go up those steps anyway. Oh, now we're on this side of the map. Great.
What the hell is that?
Well, what do you know? A stroll in the rain. How romantic.
Maria, what are you talking about?
I'm trying to keep things light, James. Just humor me.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, none of this is normal. They mustn't know. Sounds horrifying.
Is that what I think it is?
Where are we? Oh, we're in the doctor's lounge.
Having trouble there?
Yeah. You think you could give me a hand?
Me? You're supposed to be the big man around here. How's a little girl like me supposed to help? Fine.
Oh, God.
What's this? Not very cute, is it? Here, why don't you take it?
Thanks.
Man, I love how they've captured how weird she is.
So,
Like,
where to now?
Come on. I think I know where those rings belong.
yeah, like there's always these moments where it's like, is she real? You know, like she doesn't seem real all the time. patients will become the diagnosis scheduled for them when they'll make their wow, that burnt my brain. The patients will become the diagnosis scheduled for them when they'll make recovery, as my aim is always for the entire personnel, especially when their symptoms will become receding with effective treatment. I think that was English. And nothing on the back. Disassociated notice. Yeah. Disassociation, that association, you know. Now where are we? Ah. The elevator's right over here. So when will those questions come? Get on the elevator, Mary. Alright, 2. That's what you get for staring at me.
What is that?
It's a great question, isn't it?
James?
What's wrong?
Let's just get out of here, okay?
There we go.
What's wrong? I thought you wanted to get out of here.
I know. It's just... something doesn't feel right.
Come on. It's gonna be fine.
It is done. Sick no more. Ooh. This is creepy. There's no map. That can't be good.
Run!
I'm not even gonna try and look back behind me.
Elevator!
Wait, how does she get behind me?
Come on, hurry!
Dude. Bro. That was brutal. Alone again. Alright, that was pretty cool. My only issue is that, like, I was behind her and then the cutscene flips me around with her spot completely. She's behind me now. It just was weird. Alright. The potential for this illness exists in all people, and, under the right circumstances, any man or woman would be driven, like him, to the other side. The other side perhaps may not be the best way to phrase it. After all, there is no wall between here and there. It lies on the borders where reality and unreality intersect. It is a place both close and distant. Some say it isn't even an illness. I cannot agree with them. I'm a doctor, not a philosopher or even a psychiatrist, unlike the director. But sometimes I have to ask myself this question. It's true that to us his imaginings are simply nothing but the inventions of a busy mind. But to him, there is no reality. There is no other reality. Furthermore, he is happy there. So why, I ask myself, why in the name of healing him must we drag him painfully into the world of our own reality? It's a great question. Hospital entrance key. That little shit. Alright. There's nothing else in here. Wait. Oh, the whole town is like Salem Hill now. Knew you'd be there. Okay. So basically, she didn't go this way. Sure. The hell? Okay, so... all I can do is go this way. But I went this way and there was nothing here. I can't get into Heaven's Night. That's all blocked off, so I can't get in there. Aha!
Laura, stop! It's dangerous!
Bro. Okay, so now I'm on the other side. Jesus Christ. There we go. feel like we're gearing up for a showdown. Just the way we're being, like, herded along.
Laura, please, wait!
See what I mean? The fuck?
Laura? Where did she go?
He who is not bold enough to be stared at from across the abyss is not bold enough to stare into it himself. The truth can only be learned by marching forward. Follow the map. There's a letter and a wrench. Okay. It's a good thing I don't really remember much about Silent Hill 2 anymore. Like, I remember some of the larger, like, chunks of it. You know, like, I remember apartments were a thing. I remember the hospital. Like, basically all the buildings kind of were like dungeons. You know, I remember the Maria angle. I know Eddie's thing, you know, about, like, murder or whatever. Laura, I know Laura does not see any of this. Like, Laura sees Silent Hill as just a normal empty town. It's weird, but there's nothing in Silent Hill that will harm Laura. She's not seeing what James is seeing. Other characters are, like Maria, but again, is Maria real? Like, is she a person who was brought in from the outside to Silent Hill, or is she a figment of Silent Hill? We don't know. Like, does she only exist because of James? Did he conjure her? Is she the Mary that he was looking for? Or thought he was looking for, you know? But, like, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. So many questions. Alright, so I can't go that way. That's all blocked off, right? Get over here. You're annoying. These little bugs are really, really irritating. Alright, so I have to go forward. Oh, not gonna explode, okay. Yoink. insect man. I guess I have to go in there. I see a jukebox there. Oh, it's Neely's bar. So, which way do I go then? Oh. This is what they're talking about with, like... Okay. So I think this is what the radio show is talking about. What you pick, what direction you go. It takes you to the same places that you need to go for the story. It just does it in a way that's going to be more or less punishing depending on which you do. So Neely, Harris, and Miriam and all that. Okay. Whatever. How do you even start? So, like, I'm guessing an alternate path would have taken me through the burger place. That's just the bug. If you really want to see more Mary, you should just die. But you might be heading to a different place than Mary. James. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say might. He's definitely... That is interesting. was telling a friend of mine that I was doing a playthrough of this game, and he told me that there is a pet theory about this game that that door's open and there's a monster on the ground. And he told me there's a pet theory about this game going on right now that believes that like this game could potentially be like not a sequel per se, but kinda. The general idea being that like this is just another like James is basically just stuck here repeating everything. Because he can't shake himself of this issue. So he can't like leave Silent Hill. Whether it's to pass on if he's dead or not, because who knows if this is like a version of hell or purgatory or whatever. Or if like, you know, he has to free himself of whatever he needs to do in Silent Hill in order to escape Silent Hill and return to the real world. You know, however that breaks down. But he said that there's clues as you're playing through the game that this may not be, you know, James's first rodeo. Basically, that this may not be like a direct remake. I mean, it is a remake because, you know, you little jerk. Yeah, it is a remake in the sense that like you are basically playing Silent Hill 2, but you know it's not a remake in the sense of like you are where's that stupid bug? But it's not a remake in the sense that like you might be only playing another version of you know, basically you're playing like set, you know, new game plus. To put this into gamer speak, which, you know, I can see the logic to that actually. Kind of makes sense. You know, there are some differences. You know, some of the conversations feel like they might be a bit more extended, you know, or like played out a little bit differently. You know, as an example, you know, the photo things that I don't remember the photos being in the original game. You get those weird things like what we just dealt with in the thing where he's looking at the map, but it's not the same map that we're using. So something is very clearly different. But that can mean anything, you know. Yeah, open up. Just sneak in here. Could you be louder? I'm not gonna answer that right away. I'm gonna guess they really want me to go back this way. Yep. Fine.
Hello? Anyone
Just hang
there?
up, bro. What's this? A letter, right? Or perhaps you are a fool. The truth usually betrays people. You should know. The key is in the park, at the feet of the praying woman. The wrench will open the gate. The key will let loose the abyss. Alright. Got ourselves a good old-fashioned wrench. But I still got my trusty pipe. Wrong button. Alright, so... I guess I gotta fight all the way up to the park. They're here. Ooh. Got really quiet. Like the rain stopped, all the monsters are gone. The door... What? The door that wakes in darkness, opening into nightmare. Damn. It's a really cool use of scaffolding and stuff. Like, it makes the city feel like it's being built. Even though you can tell it's been a very long time before anybody ever did anything like. I heard a girl. Okay. So before I venture any further, I'm going to pause the game for a sec. I need to get up, stretch, take a break. I've been streaming for a little over 2 hours now. We will be back with more Silent Hill 2. We are going to be going to the park. Yay! Alright, let's flip that over. Get some music going for you guys. Because that's important, right? And... ba-da-da-da. Hey, look at that. Alright. We will be right back. Alright, I'm back. We will get that paused up so that we can resume and get going here. So, couple of things, since my mind is still got them on my brain here. First thing first is, so I noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed too, spooky season, but no actual spooky stream stuff. That is on purpose. I am looking at assets, but I'm budget limited on what I can do. And I don't necessarily want to just like, go to Google Images and grab the first thing that looks cool. I'm also trying to be on the lookout because I've actually seen a ton of interesting Halloween, like spooky related stuff. The problem is that a relatively large chunk of it is just AI stuff. Some of it is convincingly good. Like, the art is like, you almost wouldn't notice it at first glance. But it's because it's been like cleaned up a little bit so that it's not as obvious. But like one of the things you'll notice is, where follow the wires of an electronic device, see where they go. Do they look like they do this weird thing where they merge into other wires and it's not very distinct? That's probably a telltale sign of AI. Tree limbs, any of that kind of stuff. If you see things that should be distinct, but they look like they're merging together a little bit, that's AI. AI is not generally very good at like the fine details of things. It's getting better, but like the stuff that's available to your average person, not the high end, really nice AI stuff, is going to have a lot more of those errors. So yeah, and unfortunately, like it infests basically everything. Booth, Etsy, like any of those online shops. VGen tries to keep away from that, and it's got more of an artist community. So yeah, but like DeviantArt is loaded with AI stuff. So which for personal use, I don't give a shit what you like, but for commercial use, I don't mean commercial use as like as a business, but like, if you're putting art out there as a representation of the thing that is going to be, like spooky season, right? You're going to Stream Crush's stream, and he's going to have pictures of Halloween stuff, pumpkins and ghosts or whatever, right? You don't want those images to be AI. I don't want those images to be AI. So, I want to find artists who have actually done the work and then pay them for that work. Otherwise, I could just grab random crap off of Google Images, which, it's tempting, but it would be cool to have maybe something a little different. Problem is like budget-wise, I don't need a full-blown masterpiece. It would be cool if there was like artists that did like, just really nice sketch work, maybe with like a little splash of color here and there to kind of like make things pop. But like, I don't know. I've seen a few of those artists, but even then, like they all charge like $100+. It would be nice to find a decent artist for cheap. So I'm still looking. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Because it would be kind of cool to, make the stream look a bit more part of the spooky season type thing. Otherwise, it's just me playing horror games, which is kind of what I'm doing anyway, but So if you're wondering like why spooky season doesn't look so spooky, that's why. So I'm trying. I am. I just have so many issues in my personal life right now that are affecting my finances. And I hate to cry poor. It's just, that big lotto right now? Imagine the fucking stream I could do. I have wild ideas for streaming that if I had all of the monies, you guys would not believe it. Like, it would be so cool. And one day, maybe, it's all stuff that's just sitting on the back burner waiting for the reality to happen. But yeah, it's and I think everybody who does artistic kind of stuff is like, yeah, they have those dreams too. So mine isn't like a 3D concert where I'm an idol singer, but something maybe potentially is cool. I don't know. Like this OC Stream Crush, that's a Twitch name, right? But like, or a content creator name, but there's a whole backstory for this character that I've created, like lore, the world, the setting. It's all up here in the brain. and some of it's written down. But yeah, I mean, like, it's going to be a thing that takes time and effort, and money. The money being a big one, but yeah. So we'll make it more spooky as we go along, for sure, for sure. That feels like it wasn't needed. Like, if that's all your wrench is doing, could the pipe have just done that? I feel lied to. Oh, speaking of the other thing, so I think I know what the girl's voice is. Oh, never mind. We're just gonna go this way now. I'm guessing I'll have to be fighting them at some point. Okay. So that was locked off. So this game is doing the transitions between the various, like, worlds really well. I don't know. Should I be exploring to see what I get? Because this all looks the same. What did that letter say? I want. He is in the park at the feet of the praying woman. Hey, whoa.
Hey. Are you feeling better?
This place is different from what I remember. I guess things never really stay the same, do they?
I guess not.
I don't I don't think she's here anymore, James.
Who?
My mama. She doesn't want to see me anymore.
Eh?
Why would you think that? Anyway, I'm happy to see you.
Happy to see me?
Alive, I mean.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, way to get her hopes up and crush them in a second.
I better get going.
You still don't want me to go with you? If we stick together, we might just make it out of here.
Out of where?
This town. Silent Hill.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Oh, you didn't happen to see a little girl around here, did you?
A little girl?
Yeah, Angela? Are you all right? Angela?
No. Please. You shouldn't be here.
Angela, it's okay.
No, don't touch me!
Yeah, she just saw something terrifying. Just like he sees terrifying shit. Okay, is he digging something up? My patient buried it here. I knew, but did nothing. It made me uneasy to have such a thing near. I wasn't looking for the truth. I was looking for tranquility. I also saw that thing. I fled, but the old society was sealed. No one dares approach that place. Now I offer you the key. If you still do not wish to stop, James, I pray to the Lord to have mercy on your eternal soul. What? Historical Society key. Garage jack, okay. So yeah, I guess we could just get out of here now, huh? Aha. I did remember that I broke the windows. Oh. I guess I'll have to come back for the jack. Let's start running. Now we're getting to the Silent Hill I know. I wouldn't say love, but Silent Hill I know. That's gonna be a long run. We got Pete's Bolorama coming up here. This must be the historical society up this way. Ooh. Like. Just a picture of Pyramid Head chilling over there. Alright. I don't want to have to do that little run again, so. Little Baroness, maiden voyage of 1916. The Lady of the Light. The unveiling of one of two statues commemorated in the local folktale. Quilt's Coal Mine. Established around 1850, it remained operational until the early 1900s. The mine played a key role in the revitalization of Silent Hill. Brookhaven Hospital, 1880. The hospital was built in response to a great plague that followed a wave of immigration into the area. Originally, it was little more than a shack, but has since been expanded into a fully fledged medical establishment. Former director of Brookhaven Hospital. That's just Dorian Gray. Well, seems like we're not out of the woods yet. Just a hole. Among the local legends is that of the Lady of the Light. The story tells of a woman who was accused and found guilty of witchcraft. As punishment, she was taken to a small island out on the lake, a minuscule stretch of rocky soil devoid of any food or shelter. There, she was to suffer a slow, excruciating death as her body succumbed to cold and hunger. However, unbeknownst to the rest of the townsfolk, there was a young man among them who, having gazed into the woman's eyes, as bright and beautiful as a midsummer's moon, had vowed undying love for her. When she was convicted, wrongly as he believed, he swore that he would not let her suffer such a cruel fate. While waiting for an opportunity to abscond with his beloved, every night he would sneak out and row across the lake, bringing her food and something to keep her warm, and every night the woman would stand there, on the shore, holding a lit candle to help him find his way. But then, one night, when the sky was exceptionally clear, devoid of even a wisp of cloud, the young man set out on his nightly escapade. As always, he would look out into the darkness, looking for the light in the darkness that would lead him to his beloved. On that night, however, the moon shone so bright and so vibrant, stronger than any candle could. Seeing the light's reflection in the water, the young man was led astray. He rowed and rowed and rowed, following the reflected light, hoping against hope he could reach it. He did not care for his aching arms, or the shortness of his breath, utterly mesmerized by the illusory light. When his boat tipped over, the man was so exhausted from rowing, so weakened were his arms, that he was not able to row to shore. Thus, he succumbed to the watery grave. Although left alone, the woman on the island never lost hope. She kept coming out at night and kept lighting the candle. The legend says that those looking for true love can still see the lady's light out on the lake, shining to bring her beloved home. While the story is clearly meant as a metaphor and a cautionary tale, it is, to a certain extent, rooted in reality, as the area has indeed seen its share of religious persecutions, such as that of. So an interesting little tidbit here is when you first meet Maria at the lake, the camera pans around a little bit, and you don't really think anything of it. It just looks like the camera is pulling away from the actors type of thing. But there's a light shining. So, is Maria the light? Is he basically James drowning because of the illusion of light? Is she the illusion? Hard to say. Silent Hill Historical Society founders. What's this one? Waterfront landscape. A depiction of the local area. The style indicates it was done sometime around the 1820s, when the region was far less populated with sparse infrastructure. Huh, it's a cool picture. Title unknown, author unknown. It is the goblet. Alright.
It's him.
It's the dude. Misty day remains of the judgment. I cannot go up. So it wants me to go down to the depths of hell. Sure, I see creepy hole in the middle of this foggy town I'm trapped in. I definitely think, why did I go through this creepy hole? Sure, it'll be fine. What a thrill. keeps going and going and going. La 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 la. Nope, it's just supposed to keep going, I think. Right? Oh my gosh, wow, I thought that was never gonna end. Toluca Prison. Alright, from one grungy environment to another. Crimson and white banquet for the gods. Death by skewering and execution at the prison. Death by skewering or strangling. To choose his death is the prisoner's last taste of freedom. Built in 1862, the camp was used to house prisoners during the American Civil War. Converted into Toluca Prison in 1866. Sheesh. Hey look, here's the picture with the creepy hole. Just jump. There's no suspense here. If you're gonna do it, just do it. I mean, you already went down the 200-foot step, stairs. Find me a man as fearless as James. Where are we even at anymore? Who knows? Alright, so this is the bottom of the hole, huh? Oh, hey. Alright, well. Okay, so it wants me to tear these apart until I find the right one. That's probably it. I think that was all of those, right? Yep. Okay. wasn't there before. How do you... Oh, here we go. Jeesh. I'm like, are you sure? Are you really sure? Are you super double positive sure? Oh. Okay, I came from that way. I still have no map. You know, this place hasn't been touched in like ages, right? There's grime everywhere. Very clearly a layer of just crud, right? And my boy James here, he spots a health drink and thinks, you know what would be great? I should take that and drink it. Hey, I found a dead guy. It's definitely been here a while.
Ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head and pow.
Oh.
Eddie?
Are we going to have to fight Eddie?
Oh, hi, James.
What happened here? Who was that?
I don't know. It just came at me.
Okay. So he attacked you, and you shot him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He made me do it.
Okay, calm down, Eddie. Any idea why he would do that?
I don't know. He came out of nowhere. Tried sneaking up on me in the dark. I heard footsteps, so I turned back, and he was right there.
And you could tell that he wanted to hurt you.
Well, yeah, I mean, The way he looked at me, I just had to do it.
He looked at you? I thought you said he came at you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I could see it in his eyes.
His eyes.
He kept looking at me, making fun of me. And I told him not to, but he didn't listen.
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
You should see your face, James. I was just joking. The guy was dead when I got here. I got you, didn't I? Well, anyway, I better get going.
Jesus Christ, man.
Wait. You're gonna go out there alone?
Yeah.
How the fuck did Eddie get down here? That's what I was saying. Like, this doesn't make no sense. Eddie just pops up out of nowhere. You had to, like, get a key and unlock things and jump down, like, elevator shafts and, you know, all these puzzles, right? You had to get a key to this, you know, historical society by going to the park to get a lockbox underneath. What? And then the characters you meet are just there already. Resident Evil was the same way, you know, like, you would go through, you know, you'd fight the snake boss, and you'd go through this little, you know, like ladder thing to this whole other area of the mansion. And then you have to do all these things to unlock the puzzles, blah, 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 blah. And then you'd get to your end point where, like, you would meet a character. And it'd be like, Barry, how did you get here? You know, Wesker, how did you get here? You know, just like some of the special soldier guys that you're with, you know, like part of your team, or like, you know, Lucas or whatever his name was, not Carlos. That was RE3. You know, like, just the dude that was poisoned. You know, Rebecca. How did she get in there? You know, you all run for the door to the mansion, but there's only 3 of you. Somehow the rest of you made your way into the mansion as well. But it makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. All right, take those bullets. You don't need them anymore. And, that's a pretty fresh killing, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Alright. Oh, where are we at? Armory. Yeah, it's just a thing I've never understood about games like this, where it's like, you know, it's just there. Oh, there's a rifle. They still haven't found him. Since he had the cabinet key, we should assume one of the prisoners got his hands on it. Get the spare from the witness checkpoint and secure the rifle before it falls in the wrong hands. There's nothing. Hey, a map. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man. This place is huge. My only frustration so far with Silent Hill 2, and I know the original was like this as well, you have basically this padding of, like, you know, the hospital, and then there's like a second hospital, you know, basically reuses the map. But you're not doing one hospital run. You're doing 2 hospital runs. You're not doing 1 apartment run. You're doing 2 apartment runs. It's not the exact same experience each time, but like, yeah, it feels kind of annoying to be like, oh, I'm almost done with the prison area, only for the game to go, we're gonna flip the entire castle upside down. And it's like, oh, well, all right, well, great. Cool. You gonna miss him again? There we go. But I do wonder, like, would this game be longer? Truly. Of course, there's monsters. Looks like maybe an elevator? Oh, no, this is like a church. The heaviest weight. Prisoners do not feel remorse. In fact, they do not feel themselves to be sinful at all. Even the simplest of them will try to shield themselves from the Lord's gaze with what little words they know, and so they dream blissfully, the sinners that they are. For no matter how foul and loathsome one's existence may be, human nature abides. True. Based. What's this? Ooh. See? Random syringe in the middle of a dingy, abandoned building. That screams I should stab that with me. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to call it here. Mostly just because I feel like it doesn't really matter for tonight. Close the game. And I don't mean that in a mean way. What I'm getting at is that tonight's a quiet night. Don't really have anybody in the stream chatting with me or anything like that. I have been streaming for about 3 hours, so it's not like I haven't streamed today. 2 of that was Silent Hill 2, so, you know, we made some pretty good progress in it, I feel anyway. So I'm not, like, against calling it right now, especially because, you know, I do need to, like, get some sleep. You know, my streaming lately has been a little longer than I have been doing in the past. And because I've been, you know, a little busy this week, like basically, the beginning of the week is easier for me to stream for longer periods of time, but the end of the week, not so much. You know, as you get towards like Friday, Saturday, it just gets harder and harder for me to have like any kind of a consistent, you know, schedule, which really sucks, to be honest. So let's get things all taken care of here. Put that away. All right. So I'd like to say that is a cast. Right? Yeah. There we go. That's a cast. Yeah. I know that kind of spent about an hour talking about random bullshit before we actually got into the game, but I hope that we had some fun doing it. I did not know that there is a way to play that Courage the Cowardly Dog thing. I thought that was just the dude like making it but not actually releasing it, but apparently there's a way to play it with dreams. So I would actually like to do that because I think it looks really cool. And apparently dreams is only $20. So yeah, we'll see if we can add that to the list as well. I might have to start a spreadsheet of all the games I want to play. But yeah, I think we had some fun today. So we're gonna wrap it up. I will be back tomorrow, barring anything happening. But the plan is to be live tomorrow. We'll be back for some more Silent Hill 2. Yeah, I got my Discord notification things going, so feel free to join my Discord. You'll get notifications when I go live now, which I hope is awesome because I think it's awesome. This way you don't have to rely on Twitch or doing it for you, which it seems to miss like 50% of my followers anyway. If you don't want to bother with X or Twitter or whatever, or Blue Sky, you don't got it anymore. You can be a Discord dude and just be on that. My channel is not fleshed out at all, so don't expect anything amazing. It is literally just a general chat and a go live section. That's it. As the stream grows, the community grows, I will build it out more. We'll have some other cool stuff there. Maybe a spot for fan art or music or any of that kind of stuff. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go, as we have been doing on this journey. So thank you all for being with me. I know I'm kind of speaking to the void right now, but there will be people who watch this at some point, hopefully. And yeah, like I said, it's just been a quiet night. Usually I have at least 1 or 2 other people in here who pop in, say hi. I haven't even banned a bot, which that's probably a blessing, but when the bots stop bothering you, maybe that kind of is a bad sign. Not really sure. Yeah, for day 3 of spooky season, it was a short one, but not a bad one. I still think that Laura's the real fart face, and I'm not sure what's going on with the girl, but clearly she is suffering through her own level of hell. So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm really liking this. This entire game has really done a great job of capturing what Silent Hill 2, the original, felt like. It's not the original. Like, Silent Hill 2 is not replaced by Silent Hill 2 Remake. Hill 2 Remake. There are things about Resident Evil 2 Remake where I wish they had gone further. Like, they cut stuff from Resident Evil 2, the original, to, you know, like the spiders and all that kind of stuff. They were like, well, it doesn't really work, blah, blah, blah. Sure, whatever, it works. You could have made it work. But it's a different experience, but it is distinctly Resident Evil 2. But it doesn't replace the original at all. You know, nor does Resident Evil Remake replace Resident Evil OG. You know, PlayStation, Saturn, however you want to play it. Nintendo DS with the annoying microphone thing. You know, but like, yeah, you know, all of those games, they keep their charms. I mean, Resident Evil 3, you know, that's probably the only one that I think is like dramatically different from the original. And I'd argue not in like the healthiest way, but it is popular. People do like it. And as a game by itself, it's a fun experience. If you've never played the original Resident Evil 3, you're not going to know what you're missing out on. But if you have played the original Resident Evil 3, yeah, you're definitely going to know what you're missing out on. But that doesn't make Resident Evil 3 a bad game. The remake a bad game, but it's not Resident Evil 3. Not even close. You know, so it's kind of one of those weird like catch-22 type things. You know, so yeah. And of course, Resident Evil 4 is very faithful to the original Resident Evil 4, but the tone is different a little bit. So it's a different experience, and that's good. That's a good thing. I'm not sure it's a good idea to have a remake where it's 100% clone 1-to-1 original. Differences are going to exist. Just things are just a product of their time sometimes, and that's not always a bad thing either. But yeah, so anyways, enough ranting from me. I am tired. So I'm going to get some sleep, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.